erase the tracker today and just do that so I can go back upstairs?
I'll just say hi to everybody real quick. Well, I gotta go. I have a coach call I have to be on. Like,
okay,
right
at 10?
Yep. Welcome, everybody. I know it's a little early right this second, but I just wanted to say good morning to you. I'm super excited for today's Ignite. Evan DeShong, the legend, the myth, the I've heard stories and songs of his greatness, and I just can't wait for you guys to all glean from and I hope you are a sponge today, so that you'll just take it all in and apply what you learned from today. It's one of my favorites. So win the seller. I mean, I don't know anybody much better than this guy to do that. So I'm super excited to announce Mr. Evan DeShong. So everybody give him a great round of applause.
Yay. So super goofy, like to have fun. We're going to mix it up. We're going to have pretty high energy in the room today, even though it's like Monday, but we're still going to have a great room. Okay. And, you know, for those guys that are in back, you guys raise your hands just real quick. You guys are going to be the main participants today. No, I'm kidding, but I'm not. But hey, we're going to have a great day today. So lots of interaction. Really, the more you interact, the more you're going to learn, and the more I'm going to learn as well. So, you know, I've been in the business a long time, but I'm still learning. And this business always challenges me, always stimulates my mind. There's new contractual things that come up. There's new circumstances that come up. There's title issues. There's lots of things that you need medication for. I mean, it's just crazy, but it's a great business. It's, you know, as Bold says, how many of you guys have gone through Bold? Okay. All right, good. It's not hard. It's just not easy. It's not hard. It's just not easy. So with that, I think, Nicole, you're going to go through some 10-4 stuff, or you know, I can, whatever you want to do, but go.
Nope, just wanting to remind you guys to make sure that you're tracking your numbers. So you can also see the top associates and everything for last week. Again, that friendly competition, but then it's also benefiting you because this is projecting your business forward as well, because you're doing the activities that you're supposed to be doing. So yes, we've got a couple that have already put their numbers in for this week, so that's awesome. Just, you know, at the end of each day, go ahead and put your numbers in so that we can track it for you guys, okay? Do you guys have any questions for me before I let Evan take it off? Do you want to grab a mic? Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Okay. Yeah, if you want to for a second. No questions for me? You guys excited for a new week? Yeah.
That was not like super convincing.
Yeah. You're still waking up, and maybe another hour you guys will be a little bit more, you know, enthusiastic. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and let Evan kick it off.
Okay.
Now that we've only got about a minute left. So, yeah, Evan DeShong.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Just real quick, start out, you know, I've been 18, 19 years in the business, so a long time. I left kind of a salary, left a good job, all those kinds of things to get into real estate, into a new area. So I came to Springfield about 20 years ago and really didn't know anybody at all. I joined a team, and it was different back then. The team was great, and it really brought me along, you know, helped me with the contracts and things like that, and also, you know, provided leads. But at the end of the day, people can provide you leads, but you have to be able to close the leads yourself. Does that make sense? So, but I was just super aggressive out in the marketplace, had open houses all the time, you know, kind of worked new construction quite a bit, always looked for brake tappers when I was lead generating, and I was kind of an animal at it. And you know what brake tappers are? Anybody know what brake tappers? What are brake tappers? Yeah. Yeah. So what you do in that particular case is, even though you're starting your business and getting that going, go learn about a subdivision. Just go learn about it. Go get the floor plans. Go get the upgrades. I understand that you don't have the listing. I understand that aspect of it. But go learn about that subdivision from new construction. All right? Get the buyer packet as though you were selling a home. Learn about those homes as best you possibly can. Get with the listing agent and say, okay, well, what about this lot? How much is it going to be? How much is that one going to be? How much is that one going to be? Because a lot of new construction isn't necessarily listed, right? Hello? Right? Okay. Yeah, because they're foundations or whatever. But go learn about that and then look for brake tappers. You go out there on Saturday, you go out there on Friday afternoon, and you look for people that are just tapping their brakes. And you get in front of them and you just pull them over and say, hey, did you have some questions about new construction? Did you have any questions about these homes out here? And you'll learn it. And you start to begin to pick those buyers up. So that's a very aggressive way of getting some buyer leads out there. Make sense? All right. So let's talk about a couple of things here. Let's talk about, let's see here. Okay. So let's talk about your 10 contacts, 10 people, and 10 written notes. So I know that Nicole kind of went over those just a bit. Who's Natalia? In this, there she is back there. So you were on the leaderboard with some contacts added and things like that. Tell us about your experience and what you're kind of going through there. Yeah. 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 Okay. Good. What are you guys finding out there? You know, and I'll tell you, the energy right now is kind of low. So we need to get some things stimulated right now. All right. So when we talk about adding 10 new people to the contact, I'm telling you, that's foundational. It's not rocket science, but it is on purpose to building it. Because, you know, it's that important to really building that business, and I've rebuilt the business twice. I was a former team leader for about 5 years in the role when early on with this market center, got it up and got it profitable, all that kind of thing. And then transitioned back into sales in July of 2010. And at that point, I hadn't talked to any of my clients for 5.5 years, 4.5, 5 years. So I had started out at ground zero, and my wife wasn't working. So, and I had zero on the plate as far as the month for closings, my first month. So I started back in July 1st of 2010 in a down market, in a tough market, in a market that people thought I was crazy, but I saw opportunity. And the opportunity I saw was most of the agents around me were not willing to embrace the market. They weren't willing to change with the market. They couldn't change the market. We all get that. The market's the market. But what you can do is educate yourself to change your approach and your style. And that's what I did. I chose to change and embrace education and go out and apply. But I'm very much boots on the ground, action type of person. So I had to rebuild it. 2 weeks after I went into 100% commission, my house burned down. Okay? Yeah. About lost my family. Everybody was safe by the grace of the Lord. But that was a motivating factor for me. Okay? So, you know, you use those life experiences. And I had a goal of hitting 10 listings in my first 30 days in real estate, coming back in 2010. I hit 80%. I hit 8. Okay? But I went out there and I made contact. This is a contact sport. And I followed up. I did handwritten cards. We still do handwritten cards. I don't know, probably close to 500 a year. We do handwritten notes. My team still does that. Okay. And now, you know, I have a team and all that good stuff. And you may think, well, you know, hey, you're on a team and it just comes easy. No, it's hard work. It still is. I still go out and grind. I still work weekends. I'm still working evenings. I still do lead generation. I still do lead follow-up. I still do handwritten notes. I still add people to the contact database. I still do those things. Okay? Those are the fundamentals. That's the foundation. That's what's going to separate you if you do it on a consistent basis and not perfect, but you do it on a consistent basis. That's what's going to separate you into the 1%. We all talk about the 80-20 rule. It's really a 90-10 rule. Okay? It's really a 90-10 rule. And that will separate you into the 1%. So all we do is stick to the fundamentals. You want to know, well, hey, you got this going, you got that going? It's right there. That's what we do. That's what my 8 o'clock meetings on Monday are. You know, start at 8 o'clock in the morning. I get with key people on my staff and say this, this, and this. And it's all about lead generation and sales and all those kinds of things. And you know what? It's not rocket science. It's just consistency. And it's learning along the way. I didn't have a class like this. This is amazing that you guys have something like this, such a great tool. So when it comes down to the 10 new contacts, if you did it, fantastic, keep doing it. If you didn't do it, it's a choice, right? I mean, it just comes down to a choice. I understand priorities. I understand family time, 100%. I understand the Lord in our lives. You know, if you go to church, I understand those. Those are the priorities. But when that business aspect of it comes in, you work hard in that business and you work on purpose on that business. And you have to be willing to do what others aren't willing to do. When you don't feel like doing it, that's when you dig in and do it. That's when you dig in and do it. So Saturday afternoon, what am I doing? Finish up work. I'm between appointments. I'm making my calls. Just connecting. Just connecting. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's not hard. It's just not easy. It's not hard. It's just not easy. So you have to be willing to make it and do it. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. You're not going to hit every time. But the bottom line is, over the course of time, it's amazing how much that'll yield. How much that'll yield. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about a little bit more on these contexts. How are you guys struggling with that? What's going through your mind? Who's hitting it? Who's not? Let's talk. Come on, open it up. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go. All right. You know, it's interesting on the fail forward. I was in a meeting this morning, and we were tracking this particular number, and it was, you know, there were um, in the experience on that in that particular meeting, it was like 174 calls that were made, or no, I'm sorry, 174 contacts that were attempted at one point, and some of them, they were all no's. Of 174, all no's. And the interesting thing about it is there was a percentage of them that just hung up. So a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, a month passes. We took that same list and called them back and yielded 5 appointments. It's really pretty interesting because people will tell you no if the timing isn't good for them at that moment. Does that make sense? They're just going to, and it's not no, it's just not now. And that takes a really strong mindset for you guys to perch forward and continue forward. Because I think it's simple to say, contact made, no, hang up. Okay, I made my contacts. I did my job. Your job's not over. It's the follow-up aspect of it. It's the follow-up aspect of it. That's why I love living in Springfield. You know, I tell this story at times. My wife and I typically will buy used vehicles, you know, type thing. And but there was a truck. She has horses. We have horses and all that kind of thing. And so And how many of you guys have horses? Yeah, they're not cheap. So anyway, having said that, uh, we bought a new truck, and this was a few years ago. And I was a warm lead. I was a lukewarm lead, and it was interesting because I went to the salesperson. I connected with them there at the Chevrolet dealership, or actually Toyota dealership. And anyway, I went to that person. I said, "Hey, I'm going to be buying a truck. I'm not a buyer right now, but I am going to be buying a truck. This is kind of what I'm looking for, but I'm not 100% sure." Okay, well, I'll put some things together and I'll follow up with you. Great. No follow up. Okay. A couple months pass. I kind of blew it off because I really wasn't. A couple months pass to get a little bit more serious. Hey, I'm going to be buying that truck. Yep. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Yep. I'll follow up with you. No follow up. So the third time, I said, "Hey, I'm actually serious, and this is really what I'm looking for, and I want to do this, this, and this to the truck." "Oh, yeah, yeah, I remember you. Okay, that sounds great. So I tell you, and this was in person. I said, I am going to buy a truck, so I'm just going to ask you to follow up on these particular things." No follow up. The fourth time I went in, I said, "I bought a truck." So the reason I love living in Springfield is people may lead generate, but they don't lead follow up. There's a lot of business out there if you lead generate and you lead follow up. The lead generation sometimes is the easy part. It's the follow up. That's the hard part. Make sense? Can anybody relate to that at all? Yeah, talk to me. James? Is it James?
Yeah, yeah. When I was doing Bold, I was doing the 100 contacts.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd call several numbers a day, and I might get one or two, and then I'd follow back up with them in the future. 7 follow-ups to even get an appointment.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to, they weren't
Right.
sure. I just got to keep going.
That's right.
But that's how it works. I mean,
Yeah. It's it's just about catching them at the right time, and just being consistent with it. And so adding these new contacts is super important. Speak with 10 people in your database. You've got that in your phone. Just make the calls. I understand when you have birthday parties and you have things with your family and things like that. But honestly, you connecting with 2 or 3 people is probably going to be maybe a half hour. It's just while you're waiting for your wife to get ready, whatever. I mean, I may have a little gap there. I'll make some calls. I'll make a couple of texts or something like that. Or maybe I'm at a stoplight or between appointments, but on inspection or whatever it may be. Okay. But it is on purpose that I'm reaching out. It's on purpose that I'm trying to connect with those folks. You already have the people that are in your, make this easy, guys. Make it easy, but just be consistent with it and just relate. You're just doing life. Just relate with them when you call them. And on this number 2, speak with 10 people in your database. That's from your phone. Just connect with them. Just talk to them. "Hey, what's up?" Okay, all you're doing, and you may or may not talk about real estate in that reconnection aspect of it. They may or may not be a buyer lead. All you're doing is connecting. You have to be relational. That's the key. Make sense? Super important. Yeah, something to add? Nope. Okay. So give me some feedback. I've done a lot of talking so far this morning. So give me some feedback on what you guys are experiencing right now. Okay, go. Awesome. Love that. What's your name? Jared.
Yes, sir. I had an instance kind of like that. I reached out to a couple of my old Army buddies that I worked out with
Love it.
years ago, and we're gonna
There you go.
reconnect.
Man, military is awesome. You guys are a brotherhood, a sisterhood there. I mean, really a tight unit. Lots of business comes from that. Cool thing about it is, I don't know, years ago I connected with one guy, and he has connected me to all of this business. And you know what Saturday was? Saturday was taking out his son to buy his house. But he has referred me, I don't know, maybe $5 million in business over the course of 10 years. 5 million? That's pretty good. But it's just buddy after buddy. But I got in, I was just real. I just related with them. And they're military guys, and they all just kind of stick together. So that's huge for you, man. That's great, Jared. So, and just work it. Just be relational with them. Just be relational with them. That is awesome. Okay, what's your name? Kelly. I'm Evan. Nice to meet you. Okay. Yeah. Um, so give me a little bit more detail. Is this a brand new? Okay. 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 Yeah. You know what? And let's say that and what was your name one more time? Kelly. Okay. So, hey, Kelly, it's Evan DeShong, Kelly Williams. How are you? I'm good. Hey, we had a pretty good connection at the open house, and I just want to kind of follow up with you, certainly on the open house, but you were also kind of talking about a couple of other homes. But anyway, going back to this open house, what were your thoughts on that? Did you have any decisions or any updates for me? Yeah. Yeah, I kind of got that the other day, but I wanted to make sure you saw that one house on Gretna. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, good deal. So you kind of told me at the open house that you were looking for maybe this, and this on a house. There were 2 or 3 that popped into my mind, and wanted to see what your availability looked like this week to maybe pop over there and take a look at it. See, relational, just relational, right? It's just powering through. And then my goal in that moment was what? What's my goal that I've established that's right, Trudy, right? Okay. So it's all about that goal that will get you the big goal, right? Setting the appointment. Don't leave a loose end. A loose end is too free. But I got her closed on an appointment. Well, I didn't close you all the way, like 4 o'clock Tuesday, but that's where I was going. But the bottom line is I ask those open-ended questions, but I've trained myself at open houses to stay engaged with that, to ask those open-ended questions, because if you stay curious, if you train your mind to be curious, you're going to win that opportunity if you continue to follow up. I ask questions. That's how I stay curious in things. Does that make sense? Yeah. So my example in this is when I said, okay, I've been in the business 18 years, and this is a little bit about myself. Heads went down, energy got super low, because this class is not about me. But as we're pouring into you right now and talking about these leads, your heads are up, hands are coming up, energy's rising, all of those things, right? Okay, make it about them. Make it about them when you're doing that contact. Does that help you, Kelly? Okay, awesome. Yes. What's your name? Jennifer. Jennifer, Kelly, Jared, James. Got it. Trudy.
Just going back to that last question,
Yeah.
when do you follow up? Right after the open house, and then Monday, so say for your.
Yeah. So I may let them. It depends on their urgency and kind of their body language. If they're like, da 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 da, I may follow up with them that day. But what's typically worked for me is, okay, so I will follow up with you on Monday, and just to kind of give you a little bit of time and so on and so forth. Okay, does that make sense? All right, good. What was your name? Aaron. Okay. So Aaron, is good to meet you, and you bet. Thanks for coming to the open house today. Today's class is not on open house, by the way. It's just on contacting people. But I'll follow up with you on Monday or something like that, and we'll just kind of take it one step at a time. Okay. This is Saturday that I'm saying this. All right, boom. So I've got her information. So what I'm going to do at that point is Saturday afternoon or evening, I'm going to shoot her seller's disclosures. I'm going to shoot her any information on that house through email. So I overpromise. What is it? Yeah, what? Is it? There you go. Yeah, that's what I do. Isn't that funny? There's a goofiness of me right there. So, but I'm just saying that, you know, I set the expectation by Monday, but yet I followed up with them on real soft that same day. Okay? And then Monday comes, I'll go ahead and follow up with them again, and then I may leave a hook. And the hook would be like, hey, I want to make sure you saw that house that popped up that may be of interest. Now, I typically don't say 123 Main Street in Nixa, but I create a hook. Instead of saying, Kelly, I want to make sure that you saw that house that popped up. I think it might be a fit. Oh, what house? That's the response I want. I want that response. Oh, the house on Main Street. I'm not sure it's going to be a great fit, but I think it might be. I think it might be something you need to look at in person. So those are my thoughts. Does Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 5 work best for you? I mean, just you tell me. So I asked that direct question, and then I asked that soft secondary question. So the direct is right here, and then I go in with that softer question. Does that make sense? Because in this area, it's relational. You're in the Midwest. It's about being relational. So coming to, when you're asking that direct question, I use that script in all of my ways, is that direct question, and then I followed up right with a soft question typically. Because that soft question is that Midwest. Does that make sense? You guys getting any of this? Yes. All right. Dude, you've had your hand up forever. I know, right? What's your name? Tyler, I'm Evan. Yeah, you too, bro. Yeah. Yes. Right? Talking and talking and talking, and in person or over the on your follow up. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
And then when you're trying to get them to well, I'm already working with an agent.
Sure.
My brother's an agent.
Sure.
You,
Doesn't feel good, does it?
well, my question with you, I mean, what do? You just gracefully bow out, or like, what do you think?
Yeah. So, dude, I mean, you need to just to respect the industry, right? You know, lots of people have a different, well, you know, do they have agency signed and so on and so forth. You know, I kind of go back to the relation aspect of it. If they're mentioning that and they have a relationship, then you need to go to support that. Okay. Oh, yeah, Tony's a great agent. You know, I know Tony, da, da, da. Yeah, that sounds great. So, but boy, it's still not a feel good. I mean, you know, like, really? I mean, it was a really good conversation. So, what you have to do is you have to back up and you say, what would I have done differently? And that's where the self improvement always comes into play. And that self improvement, which should happen at the open house. Right? So, I got to ask you, I mean, who do you know that, are you working with anybody? I mean, do you have an agency signed or do you have a relationship that you feel committed to as far as, and this is in person at the open house? I qualify that person. Make sense? Now, that's two part. The beautiful thing about that is if they don't, great, you can get engaged, okay? But you want to do that in person, Tyler, as much as you possibly can. That's obviously the key. Now, how do you get from talking about the pink walls and the opportunity in the house and the countertops to agency? Well, and this is how you do it. This is a script you guys all need to use. Hey, Jared, switching gears here for a second. That's it. And then using that body language, stepping back and giving them that space. So, Kelly, I got to ask you, I mean, this house may not be the fit for you, but switching gears for a second. My tonality was up. I gave her personal space by backing up. And I asked her direct, and I did a transitional script. Make sense? That can be that type of script or something close to that, you can be talking about bluebirds on the fence row to buyer agency signed. It does not matter. Or septic tank issues. It does not matter. You can use that type of script to transition to anything. Very powerful. Does that answer your question? Okay, just real quick. So let me finish up a little bit more, Tyler. So always look to see where you can improve. Always look to see what you would do differently. Okay? You just have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Right? And once you're comfortable with being uncomfortable, that's when you're going to start to yield results. I'm just saying. That young lady right there is she works well, she has a different aspect of the business that Evans Group was very attracted to. Okay, but what we saw in Trudy was grit, hard work, determination, and she just needed help along the way. And you know, she knows the course of the conversation. She got out on an appointment this last week, and I'm like, okay. So she said, I got the LA, and I said, when is it? And she's like, what? What'd you say?
On this morning?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, I've gotta call him back. I didn't get it. That
right,
right there.
R-
Should have.
right. And you knew you should have because she knew I would ask. But the bottom line is just about that accountability, where it to be self-accountability or an accountability partner. Make sense? We're spending a lot of time on this 10-4 because it's that important, guys. And I mean, every one of you guys has a choice. You're going to do it or not. And you're willing to get uncomfortable or you're not. And you're walking out of class not knowing everything. You don't know everything about the listing presentation. You don't know everything about this, that, or the other. You don't. I don't have it all figured out. But you have to be committed to failing forward. You have to be committed to hearing no. And the first thing when somebody tells you no, the first thing that goes through your mind is not now. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. Making sense? Is this sinking in? What's your name? Purple shirt. Talk to me. What are you getting out of this so far? So you're a high I personality, aren't you? There you go. Number one fear is rejection on high I. Okay, go. You know, when somebody tells me no and it's a new contact, you know, I may say, Chad, so I understand you just told me no. I say that to him. Chad, I understand you just told me no. I do. I get that. If this were to happen or this were to happen, what are your thoughts on that? Make sense? You have to plow your way through it without being plowful. Make sense? Chad, keep going. What? Talk to me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. And Chad, you're really onto something. You're training your mind at that point to be curious. You're training your mind to be curious. You're training your mind to be curious. You're asking open-ended questions. Well, what if this? Well, what are your thoughts on that? Well, help me understand this. The more talking they do, the more loyalty the closer you are to a yes. You guys listening? Yeah? Question.
I just wanted to know what
Didn't forget you.
say
What's your
is-
name?
Mindy.
Mindy. I'm Evan. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Evan.
Yeah.
When you're going through your little script and we're talking about that bird bath out back, and you said, yeah, and switching gears, are you trying to get that signed by
great question.
Are you just clarifying that they don't already have a buyer's agency?
Could be a little bit of both. I'm just trying to find out where they're at. My goal,
What's your next?
the next step, yeah, I always want to know what the next step is. And the next step would be for me to win them to a buyer consultation at that point, to really sit down with them, maybe meet them in the evening and go over buyer consultation. Yeah, well, what class are we on? We haven't even started the material. Yeah, we can. Buyer consultations are, very, very powerful. It's oftentimes a skipped thing. Buyer consultations, if you do it the right way, have a relational, open-ended conversation and begin asking exploratory questions as to what they're looking for, what their desire is, the area, maybe homes, why it's important for them to sell, why are they in this market, all of those different classes that Ignite will teach you, I promise. Going through that buyer consultation is what agents skip. If you go through a successful buyer consultation and you're just asking them questions and things like that and just going through, and you're writing notes, your percentage of buyer agency will go from probably 62 to 64% to about 97. Why do I know those numbers? Because I track them. We track all of our numbers. Every one of them. From walkthroughs, this, that, and this and that. We track them all. Because the numbers that we track, just like you're tracking numbers, are behaviors. They're behaviors that we're doing or not doing. If you're showing goose eggs right here, I can tell you what you're not doing. So if you're tracking goose eggs, you're just not lead generating. If you're tracking your numbers, but you're not getting the numbers, it's scripts and dialogue. Okay? If the numbers are set and the appointments aren't there, it's going to be consultations. So the bottom line is, it's just breaking it down to help understand it. So a buyer consultation would just be, these are the 3 points that we're going to go over in a buyer consultation. As I sit down with you, these 3 things right here. And at the very end, we're going to come to an agreement. We're going to come to an agreement on buyer agency.
We're at the open house. We're chit-chatting.
Yeah.
And then you use that.
Yeah.
We're going to switch gears for a moment.
Yeah.
Step back and you've given them a little space.
Yeah.
What is the very next thing that comes out of your mouth?
So natural. Yeah. So, okay. I didn't answer your question. So I tell you what we ought to do, just kind of based on what you're looking for. There's 2 or 3 homes that pop up that come to my mind that might be of interest to you. When would be a good day to follow up with you and set an appointment to go take a look at those? So I'm going to take the action and I'm going to win them on a private showing. I'm going to be a resource. I am just going to dump that resource and just aggressively go after it. And boy, I tell you what, if you had an off the market property that was getting ready to hit within 24 hours, that was for compliance with the board. If you have an off the market property or something like that, or you have an authorization to show or something like that, that's the key thing right now because of lack of inventory. But the bottom line is I'm going to try and win that one-on-one time with them on the next house, whatever house that may be. Make sense? And then from there, I tell you what we ought to do is we ought to set up a time and really kind of go through a consultation. And I would like to know what your thoughts on the market are. I'll explain to you kind of what the trends are. And I want to show you online some other houses that may or may not be a fit for you. Would that be a benefit to you? I mean, we're not talking much time. Okay, good. So when would be a good time to get together? I could do 2 o'clock on Saturday or 7 o'clock on Sunday or,
Yeah, unless we do it during school hours.
I know.
More kids with it.
I know. Tell me. You talking about you're crazy. So, you're just going into that relational, man. And I tell you, I mean, your kids are crazy, aren't they?
No.
Just, I mean, they can't really get outside right now. Yeah, I know. Right. I get them. I get it. So, I mean, aside from the kids and things like that, when would be a good time when you guys kind of have a break to each other? What are you guys kind of thinking?
Anytime during school hours.
Okay. Okay. Well, how about 1 o'clock on Wednesday? I could do Thursday as well.
Oh, yeah.
Just
they
go
have
with me.
school on Wednesdays, that's right.
All right. Well, how about Thursday? Well, let's do.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and do Thursday at 11.
yeah, Thursday at 11.
Okay. Now that works for Bobby as well, your husband.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, I tell you what I'll do. I'll just. What's that?
I now have a husband.
You do.
This is exciting.
You do. So I tell you what. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and text you my contact information, and we'll just meet at my office at 11 o'clock.
Sounds great.
Hey, we're just gonna take it one step at a time. Did you hear that? Soften it, because we had a pretty direct conversation. Right? Good? Tyler. Yeah. Dude, you got to, it's about them. It's about them. You got to keep it simple. Keep your mind curious. Keep your mind curious. Back row, feedback. Come on. Hey, let's give the back row a hand of applause. Yeah, back row. You guys are like awesome. You're the best back row ever. All right, give me some feedback. Come on. What are you guys getting? Come on. Your high IQ? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so you're smarter than me. Okay. No, I'm kidding. Dude, I get it. Now what? Yeah. Write this down. 300 3826. You get in a jam, you call me. Okay? All right. You just got to get comfortable with that, bro. So what that means is this. You just got to role play with your buyer agencies. You got to role play with the contractual things, because that's your hang up. Now, the fear is, I see, how many people like class? How many people like going to class? Raise your hands. If you like going to class. You guys are crazy. How many of you guys will attend every class that Keller Williams puts on the map? No, come on. You're crazy. Okay? So I love that, and that's education based, and that's awesome. And it can be a wall. It can be a wall. So what I'm saying is, if you've got to take action, you got to go out there and you got to implement, and you got to be willing to fail your way forward. Does that make sense? So when I say work on your buyer agency, work on your contractual things, that's your hang up right now, dude. Because you're not sure exactly what to do. So by going to Ignite and so on and so forth, that's going to help you. But learn those types of things, and that way you have a grasp out of it. And get with a broker. People in the hallway I get, but it's role playing with a salesperson of experience, and or a broker. Does that make sense? Yeah. Or Brian, don't Brian and Blake and Brian, don't they have a coach? Yeah, get with them as well. I mean, they're pretty sharp dudes. I just don't know their name. No, I'm kidding. No, I do. This is being recorded too. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, I just say that to say that just get comfortable with that. But going back to the wall aspect of it, I've had folks attend every single class and not implement. And that's a hang up. You've got to be able to implement. You've got to be able to implement. You got to be willing to fail your way forward. Make sense? Did I answer your question? Okay. I don't think I answered his question. I did answer your question? Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Notes. You got to make your notes. Make your notes. Write your notes. They're powerful. So many times they're not done. And I don't have very good handwriting, just straight up, like at all. So I had to really slow down to write it. And I'm not a great speller. What are you laughing at? Have you gotten a note from us? What? Did I misspell something? Truth. Um, I just, it's not a real strength. That's a real, I have to be very diligent about doing that. But I am, and we do. Okay? Notes are powerful. Notes are powerful. Your open house follow up. It could just be you writing a handwritten note. Keep them um, in your truck or in your car, in the glove box, just a single side, whatever. Just write them a quick note and find out where they live and drop it off or mail it to them just as a follow-up. Hey, it's good to meet you today. Thanks for taking the time to let me walk through your property. Thanks for taking the time to do this or that. It's just a quick note, but it's very, very powerful. And it's old school, right? Social media is easy, sort of. So a quick note like that it is powerful. Okay? And here we are in this century, 2021, still doing and still promoting 10 written notes. Mindy, it works. It just works, you know? So just being consistent with it. Okay. Jennifer.
Yes. Just quick question
Okay.
on that. Can you find like where they live on fast people search or how?
They could probably answer a lot better than I could.
Yes, and the assessor's website.
Yep. That's where I usually go.
I would like to point out, I had a newbie working with me one time. Not that I'm not a actually put notes. Against the law, guys.
Yeah, you can't do that.
That didn't
No.
work well. I got a couple phone calls after that little.
Yeah. Typically not a good thing. Yeah.
On the door
Yeah.
handle, not inside the mailbox.
Yeah. So, guys, um, I can't emphasize lead generation, lead follow up enough. I really can't. We spent a lot of bit of time on this morning, and we'll probably hit it throughout. But it's that important. Who's the veteran in the group right now? Who's been in it the longest? 1 year or more? 2 years or more? 3 years? 4 years? 5 years? Right here, James. 3 and 3, right? Okay. Talk to us. I don't know. About maybe the Chiefs game this weekend against the Browns. I don't know.
Time block, I guess, is main things I have to do. So every morning, I'll get up, start the day, and have my coffee. Kind of go through what I'm doing for the day, on top of my mind, and then lead generation. And I'll try off and on because it can get frustrating. Goal is to make 20 conversations. Come back, enter all that into my database, write my notes. And how urgent it is. Work on the business and work in the business.
Good point. And when you work on the business, I think that needs to be a separate time block than lead generation. Just some thoughts, because and no bad. I'm just saying, for me, if I work on the business, it starts to really consume most of my time, and that's where my comfort level will go. Because by nature, I'm not necessarily a great lead generator, so I have to be very diligent about doing my lead generation. Now, if you get me in an open house or in front of people or things like that, that's a little bit different. But when I have to make my calls and I have to make my texts and I have to make my emails, just know that it's ingrained in me now, but I still have to be on purpose about doing it. Does that make sense? But dude and dudettes, I'm telling you, if you do those things, the results come. If you measure them, you'll be able to really improve your skill set that's needed between those two measurements that we just talked about, right? And the results come, and it just compounds. It just compounds, and I don't know, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So, yes,
I have a question
yes.
with what Jane said. To set aside the time to do it.
Find the time.
That's what I'm kind of struggling with is like, I might have time to do it after I talk and I've got. Where do I get? I mean, I'm looking forward to February when Ignite is over.
Okay, go ahead.
I wouldn't mind answering just a little bit of, and I don't make as much. But, do you have any? Oh, I used to do high school. I don't get the huge chunk. I have to sneak them in.
No, no, love it.
But you have a lot of stuff going on.
I've
gonna
done
make a
that with
call.
kids in the car, like, been like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to do it on my way to get them as opposed to when they're in my car.
But sometimes that
I mean,
doesn't work.
reality,
Yeah.
I make it when they're in my car too.
I've started reaching out to
There's
my
that too.
circle
Oh,
of
yeah.
people that I trying to hit the quality contacts, the ones that
Mm-hmm.
to try to get that in. Leaderboard, I just.
Well, and I think that if you really looked at your calendar, maybe handwritten notes can be written at any time during the day. Okay. Your follow-up texts, I mean, that can be done, just on intermittent times and things like that. But I think it's really looking at your calendar and just committing your mind to saying, okay, these are the gaps this week that I do have, and I'm committed to doing it. Because I think you might be surprised. It sounds like you have a very busy life, but I think you might be surprised at the gaps of time that Mindy said that you do have. And that's what it takes. And as far as the after 5 o'clock, what? Just do it. Yeah. You put your kids down. I know Austin puts his boys down about 7:30, and then, about 7:45, 8 o'clock to 8:30, he'll be doing his legion. You guys all know Austin Styles. Okay. Anyway, so uh, so having said that, I mean, it's just looking for those gaps in time to do it.
I mean, you're probably on Facebook.
That's right.
Well, and I think I'm probably doing more of it and just not tracking it.
Well, I think,
accurately.
yeah, I think that you're probably right, but I think it's also a great aha that you even brought it up because you you have you're obviously thinking about it. Now it's time to implement it. So when I say it's not easy, it's just not it's yeah, it's not hard, it's just not easy. That's an example right there of what you're going through. It's not hard, it's just not easy. So I think for you, it's again looking at your calendar. It sounds like you're a planner. You get your calendar out and you look for those gaps, and you're on purpose about doing it. And if you're checklist driven, Write those things down, and then scratch it off when you get it done. That'll motivate you to get the next gap done. Make sense? Good? Okay. So this is a document that I was kind of raised with. Just a daily's activity sheet. And I used to score 21 points a day. And for me, it was just in hard copy form because the reason the hard copy worked for me was because it could go with me. And I could just write things down as I was going from appointment to appointment, putting up signs, whatever, things like that. Making sense? Okay. So it's just, different contacts, and they could be, different lenders. They could be lead generation, but all of it was lead generation. All of it was lead generation under these contacts. Lead follow-up, appointment set, offers, listings, signed listings, expired, contacted, those types of things, okay? And I just got to the point where I scored 21 points, and I would just get 5 copies of those in hard copy and staple them for the week. I mean, the bottom line for me was the phone works to a degree, but I think for me, it's a mix of both the phone and hard copy, because honestly, when I see the hard copy, it's a reminder. It's an accountability to say, dang it, I better get my 21 points. Or if I skip a stapled sheet and it's blank, I'm like, dang, I didn't do it. Or my wife's like, hey, you didn't score your 21 points. What? But the bottom line is that may be a form that you guys could come up with that might help you. Make sense? Good? There you go. Yep. Yeah, sure. You just throw your card up here. We can get that out to you. Not a problem. Okay. Any other questions on lead generation? Pretty important. Yes. What's your name? Yeah, that's right. Natalia. So I'm going to come back here because I can't quite hear you. I'm not used to carrying this mic. I got to carry it like this. All right, what's your question?
You said that you're still doing handwritten cards. What actually do you write in those cards?
She asked the question, what do we actually write in the handwritten cards? It's just whatever. I mean, it's going to be case by case, people by people. Hey, great to meet you Sunday. Good connection. Thanks for opening up. I'll follow up with you soon, Evan. Or great walkthrough today. Just keep it light. Keep it relational. Okay? Keep it relational. We'll talk soon. Something like that. Hey, I'd love to be a resource for you. We just had a really good connection the other day, and I just want to follow up with you. Emphasize that. Right? So it's just relational stuff that I put in there. We thank him for transactions. If you ever do a transaction with Evans Group, you'll get a card as an agent. And the reason for that is because it's about relationships with you guys as well. Okay? So certainly our clients get a thank you note, lead generation gets a thank you note, and agent gets a thank you note. So it's important. And over the years, it's proven to be huge because we just have agents that follow our listings, right? It's just easier for transactions and so on and so forth. Make sense? Appraisers, definitely go on my phone. 100%. We serve appraisers. We're very listing-based focused. We don't have buyer's agents on my team. We're sales agents. Okay? Because it's about that particular sales agent and their relationship with that particular client, and let's go get the business. I'm not worried about buyer agency and all that, not the forms, yes, but not, buyer agent role or anything like that. We do both. And they have to be skilled at both. Make sense? Yeah. So, all right, let's jump into some good stuff today. You guys getting some good things out of this? James, you've been to a lot of classes, bro. Good, bad? What ahas are you getting? Come on. Yeah. Yep, that's right. It's just another option. That's another option. Yep, Jennifer. Oh. Well, you'll hear a few more. Yep. Yeah. Dude, what a great question. That's a great question. Do you guys hear that? What's your agent's name? Oh, that's a good question. Simple, easy. Okay, who else? Anybody else? Oh, yeah. You like that? All right, cool. It's something simple. And that's where buyers are physically going to be. So try it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, Americans for the most part like new construction, all that kind of thing. And you go to a good subdivision, but you got to learn it. You got to walk through them. Talk to the subcontractors. Talk to them. So what do you do? Oh, I do drywall, da, da, da. Just ask them about the questions. So what type of insulation do you guys put in these houses? Well, I've done all of the houses out here. We're putting R19 here and blah, 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 whatever. Just learn. Talk to subcontractors. Not kidding you, man. Talk to them. And, sometimes they don't want to, but you just do it anyway. But you'll learn. You'll learn, right? You'll learn. Jared. Yep. Dude, you've been doing it. Right? There you go. It's not rocket science. Tyler. Not going to answer that. Not going to. I stop him. I just remember, yeah, one of my referring clients, $6 million in business, that he has now referred me. He, when I first met him, I did. I kind of stopped in front of him so he couldn't maybe pull out. And it was raining, and I'm like, hey guys. And I just went in, I watched my personality and things like that. And I'm like, hey, I noticed you guys were out here kind of looped around a little bit. Would you guys like to take a look at this inside this house? Oh, well, sure. Yeah, we'll take a look at it, and they bought that house. And whether you have success in them buying that house or another, it's just about being willing to do what others aren't. It was raining, for crying out loud. It was cold. It wasn't a day that they should have been out there. But I said, you know what? I've got a half hour here. Because Angie had this going on, she had this going on, and I had a half hour between this and this. So I went out there. And I just learned the subdivision. That's what I did. And they were there. So, I mean, I know it sounds creepy, but it's really not. They were there too. And they were, and I had the information because I had planned for it. Make sense? Keep it super simple. Yep. What's your name? Danielle? Okay, nice to meet you. I'm Evan. Yeah. That's all right. We're good. It was listed. Yeah, it was listed. So if it's not listed, yeah, and there's a sign, I'm going to call that builder. I'm going to call the agent. I'm going to dig on that house. I'm going to try and find out as much as I possibly can. Not everything are you going to find out, but I'm going to try out as much as I possibly can and and get the information, write it down, and then I'll be able to talk about it. Sure, you can. I'm just going to call the LA and say, hey, hey, Mindy, it's Evan. I'm just going to be out here working the subdivision just a little bit, and I just wanted to learn a little bit about these homes. What have you got coming up? How much are you going to listen for, or what have you? Those types of things. And when you have that buyer and this foundation, it's not listed, you said, I talked to the listing agent, the ballpark price is this because it's not listed. So kind of give a general. But this is kind of what they've done in the past. They've done R19, they've done this, they've done that. And here's a little bit of the information on it. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense? Just go work it. Yes, sir. What's your name? Cole. I'm Evan. Yeah. Well, you know me well. Okay. Yeah. Too direct and to the point. Right. Well, so I'm going to paint the picture. It's raining. They're driving through. Their car is still moving. I pull in front of them. That's fairly direct. I get out of the car. They roll down their window. No, and it was not the button. It was this. I have to soften it because that's pretty direct. Hey guys, how are you? Hey, my name's Evan, and I just saw you guys out here. So I had to be aware of my smile, and I had to be aware of my distance between them, and I had to make eye contact with both of them in the window. Right. Makes sense? Very. Yeah, very intentional. Body language is huge. That's a whole separate class. Um, Learning to recognize people's personality style and staying successfully as agents in the sales zone. It's our job to move to their personality. Did you hear me to that? It's our job to recognize and move to their personality. That's a whole different class. You need to attend that. That'd be good. Yeah, that's all right. We'll call you out. It's all good, Cole. Okay. Good? Hey, you guys want to take a break? Yes. What, James? Seriously? All right. So it's like 5 after, and why don't you come back at 6 after? No, I'm kidding. Let's do about 10-minute break, just real quick. We'll come back at 15 after. Good? Right. Okay. It's a great house. That's all right. Okay. Hey, we tried. I really appreciate you. Hopefully we do a deal soon. Yeah, we will. Okay. Yeah, we will. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you too. You taking off?
That probably, now would be a good time. We've been trying to get countertops installed.
Yeah, you bet. See you, man. You bet. What it does, like I said.
Starting up here.
All right, sounds good, Drew.
I got you.
There's a DISC. Probably be a resource. But,
I just wrote their names.
safety. So, so probably reach out to Nicole and ask DISC class, something that's coming up. It would be super powerful because that allows you to begin to recognize what type of person. Furthermore, communicate to your team members what type of personality is as well. So it just really allows, you don't want to come in with AI personality. Talking to a lot of people that are ID personalities or turn off. Too much. So, you know, my military buddies, ID personality, they're decision makers, or they're SC personality where they're, you know. Yeah, yeah.
What's the school for accounting?
You couldn't get back there?
English. I guess I realized some character traits of my own that I need to work on sometimes.
So that successful sales is very important now, is to be able to move, recognize, and then be able to move accordingly. So, body language, the way you talk, all of those kinds of things are important. Bottom line is it teaches you how to communicate effectively to win, to win.
We're probably fine for now. Your next break, I'll probably come down and replace the batteries. Okay. But it's more than replace.
I understand it, I understand. I was sitting there, so sometimes you're on your own, and you're like, okay, am I doing this right? Am I not doing it right?
Well, and I had to contact like that, but
no, we're good. No, not at all. We're good. We are good. Is Nicole here? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Everybody back. Deal. Good energy, man. Good energy. You guys are doing great. Doing great. Oh, I gotta get this microphone thing going again. Hey, good energy out there. I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. It's 15 after, so for 15 minutes, you guys are gonna make your calls. Okay? Nobody's failing. Nobody will fail in the next 15 minutes. You will fail if you don't do it. Okay? So calls and contacts are two different categories. So I want you guys to track your calls and your contacts. Okay? Go. Like now. Go. No, I mean like right now. We certainly enjoyed coming. Clients and my neighbors, good friends.
Perfect. What's a good time to call you?
Yeah, 880-1578.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry. Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah, you bet. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
I stepped out because I needed to make some calls, and I come in, I'm like, oh, we're doing it anyway. Perfect.
Planted some showings.
Calls out. You guys getting success? Success? Good? Yes? Kelly? Nice.
I'll be right back. But I don't have PowerPoint on here, so
That's fine, but I don't want you to really sweat too much.
I'm gonna throw
And
it
I'm
in
gonna
there.
share it online too.
I'm gonna go grab it. I'll be right back.
Disclose what his offer was. Yeah, okay.
about 3 minutes, guys. Okay, couple of minutes. Let's wrap up.
Unless you want the notes.
I mean, I could. Okay, so how'd it go, guys? Lead generation. Kelly. Sir. Good. Okay, so what did you get accomplished on the call? What's your name? Nice. Okay, so how'd you end it? Okay, right. That's cool. So, like, how'd you close for the appointment? Yeah. Okay, there you go. Okay, good deal. Awesome. So you want to make sure that if you don't get that in 2 hours, you follow up with a text to him saying, "Hey, man, just reaching out. Thought I'd, reconnect with you. Shoot me the dude's info." All right. Sounds good. Good job. Good job, Tyler. Nice. Yeah, there you go. Sure. Sure. Okay, good deal. So going back to the sign call aspect of it, that's awesome on the lender aspect of it for sure. Did you have another property in mind that might be of interest? Okay. Okay, and that's cool. But the bottom line is, I love the qualification aspect of it for sure, Tyler, but create that hook. Okay? So, hey, I want to make sure that, there's another property that comes to my mind that may be of interest to you. Hey, what's your email? And I'll just shoot it to you. I've got your text. There you go. Follow me? So take it one more step and try and get that contact information. You can get them set up on kind of a general search. So you guys called me about that property, right? So, but you guys are kind of maybe not really in the market. I mean, help me understand that. It kind of sends me a confusing message. What are your thoughts? Just tell them that. Oh, well, no, we're interested. We're in the market, and this is, so we chose this area because of this, and this. So it's almost like a little bit of a mini consultation right off the bat. Make sense? Yeah, good job. That's, you know, take advantage of that on that sign call. Take advantage of that on that sign call when they call. Okay, who else? Then we'll wrap up. Jennifer, you confirm your referral. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about what Jennifer did over the break. All right, so she had a friend who was moving to.
Yeah, well, she was in my story and she posted.
Okay.
Just like really nervous about it, so I tried to just give her lots of information until it's not scary.
Okay, so the bottom line is what Jennifer did. She had a friend in social media, girlfriend who lives here locally, moving to Florida. Okay, needs an agent. Jennifer's like, hey, Evan, what do I do? I said, you find out exactly where she's moving. Let's say it's Ocala, Florida. You go to Ocala on KW Map. You find out the market centers that are close to it. You call those market centers and you ask one of the staff members, hey, who's in production? Who's up and coming? Who's seasoned? Get a variety of different agents. Call 5 agents. Call them because they need to be picking up their phone, right? You call them. Sometimes you have to leave voicemails. Give them 24 hours to respond. Just do it. Just do it on a Monday. If you get a seasoned agent, whatever. But just give them the course. Just let me finish. Give them the course of time, and then the people who don't follow up are off your list. The people who do follow up within a reasonable amount of time are going to be the ones that you go 3 deep on. So tell me about your market. So what classes have you attended? So tell me about your lack of inventory. So how long have you been in the business? So how do you get business? What are you working? How many transactions are you closing? Those types of things. And you're going to get a response on energy level or no energy, on follow up or no follow up, and that qualifies. And when that agent qualifies or disqualifies themselves, that's your person. And then you just connect the two. Okay, so I've got a referral that's going to be coming down to you, and her name is this, and this, but I'm going to go ahead and send it to you for your signature. Send it through .loop, get their signature at 25 or 30%, and then you connect back with her girlfriend in this particular case and say, I got a match for you. Make sense? But you want somebody that's going to lead them. You want somebody that's almost kind of like you, that's going to follow up because it's a good friend of yours. You don't want to just randomly go with the first person that you talk to that's breathing air. Right? Qualify those people. Qualify them. Just ask them the simple questions and then secure the referral. If you don't and you secure the referral and they don't follow up, you didn't get the referral. Make sense? Okay. So there, you bet. Well, I mean, that could be $2,500 in her mailbox that comes by way of referral. Okay. Well, the person who generates a good question, Jared. The person who generates a referral form is going to be the person who has the client. Make sense? Okay. All right, good. So we're going to jump into listings. All right, good deal. So the PowerPoint, for whatever reason, Nicole is not able to find that, and she's tried a couple of times, but that's okay. We're going to go through this just a bit. All right. So I've got a hard copy. I'm on kind of page 13, if you will, if you guys want to go there. So making it happen, working with sellers. So let's talk about the benefit of working with sellers. What is the benefit of working with sellers? James.
They take a lot less time as far as much as your time. Things out of how it's going to go move forward.
So let me ask you another question. Buyers or sellers, which one do you focus on in a down market? As the market begins to shift, as days on market continue to rise and homes aren't selling as quickly, what group do you focus on? Okay. No wrong answer, really. Always listings. So in the down market, 2008, 2009, 2010, all brokers in Springfield were freaking out. I'm not kidding you. They were freaking out because the market was just freaky. Okay. And they all coached, get your buyers, 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 get your buyers. Keller Williams was the only company, matter of fact, the book Shift came out. Keller Williams was the only company that Gary says, what are you guys talking about? You go focus on market share. You go focus on listings. But, they're not selling. But, they're overpriced. But, all those kinds of things. You always focus on listings. Always. That's your market share. That's your leverage. Buyers will always come to listings because buyers want to buy listings. Oh, yeah. So we always focus on listings. When I set my goal in 2010 on July 1, I'm like 10. I didn't say 10 buyers. I said 10 listings. 10 listings. And pricing strategies and all that kind of thing. That's one of my favorite classes to teach is pricing. I don't get to teach that today, but that's okay. But it's always listing based. Always. Always listing based. Okay? And as a listing agent, we always focus on the trends. What are the two trends of the market that will always tell us where the market is going? Always, 100%. What data can you look at today that will tell you the trends of the market going forward? Kelly. Yes? 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 Close? Pendings and actives. Pendings and actives will always give you a clue as to where the market is heading. It will give you a snapshot. Pendings and actives. I understand closed data. I understand the importance of closed data. But it's always going to be pendings and actives that are going to give you a clue as to where the market is going. Days on market. Days on market. Okay. Ratios. That's going to be on closed data primarily. But it's going to be those two categories there that how many pendings, how many actives, what a turnover ratio looks like. Should I work this neighborhood or not work this neighborhood? You need to know what a turnover ratio is. Okay? That's right. Okay? All those kinds of things. So keeping it simple. We can't analyze the future, but those are clues that will give us insight as to where the market is going. Okay. So you want to position yourself as an expert. You want to win the listing, page 13, and you want to allow the price of the home to sell for the most amount of money in the shortest time frame. So there's two different markets right now. What are the two markets right now? So Trudy, explain on the market. Who's the determining factor? Who is the person who is making the decision on the market as far as pricing goes? Okay. So we have two different groups we have two different markets right now in this current market. You have on the market, which are homes that are active, they're on the market, they may have great pictures, great location, all those kinds of things. All those things. However, the seller said, I really don't care about what the comparables say. I want this because I've heard the price, I've heard the market is so good. So that group of sellers is discounting the data that you're bringing and saying, I want this. And I guarantee you, the market will communicate to you as a seller, 100% will communicate to you with activity or silence. That's how it communicates. Make sense? One of those two things. Then you have a group that is, and that group is what? Beautiful. So the two things that are driving the market always, whether the market is up or down, are these two factors, always, 100%. Price and condition. Those two things will drive the market. Price and condition. Price and condition will always drive the market. So in the market, it's priced right, condition is right, and those homes are selling. And they're all in multiple offer situations, or they feel like it, right? Those are in the market. They've listened to the data. Yes, we're pushing the price as much as we possibly can, but they're priced correctly. They're not on the market. They're in the market. So the script is, this diagram, as simple as it is beautiful to explain to sellers on a napkin, on a piece of paper, as you're sitting there at the table. It's beautiful. However, this release of information needs to come when, Trudy? That's exactly right. So that script, this diagram, comes before you price the house. Did you hear me on this? This script, this diagram, comes before you price the individual house with Mr. and Mrs. Why? Setting expectations. James has nailed it. Because if I don't, James, what happens? If I do it in reverse, hey, your house is $150,000, and they say this, and then I pull this out, what am I doing? I'm trying to talk them into something. I'm trying to be pushy. I'm trying to sell them. You guys getting this? Okay, so we're going to go over how this works for us. We do a two-step on Evan's group, always. Even if I've sold the house, I've sold one house, believe it or not, 5 times. It's crazy, isn't it? Same house. Huh? What? Well, yeah, it's kind of weird. But, yeah, it is. That's a good question. I would have to actually look at it, but the prices did go up. I know it's weird, but I have. Yeah, I actually ought to pull that. But regardless of that, if I've been in the house or not been in the house, always I start as a new agent. I establish the walkthrough. I set the appointment. So whether that's a referral or a cold lead coming in, that's whatever, I set the appointment. I set up a time to conference them so they can hear the voice reflection over the phone. And then from that phone, I set the appointment. So Mindy, I tell you what we ought to do is, I tell you what I'd like to do is just walk through the house. And I try and do that immediately as much as I possibly can right off the bat. And honestly, it's only going to take probably 15 to 20 minutes, but I want to be able to hear this. I want to be able to push the value of the house, but I've got to feel your house. When would be the best time for me to come by when you're both home? Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 5? You guys getting this? That's over the phone. Because my goal is what? To set the appointment. Okay. Walkthroughs are huge. Walkthroughs are huge. Why do you think walkthroughs are that important? Yeah. Exactly. Building that trust. So when I come, okay, great. Well, Tuesday at 4, I'll just be there for you and Tony, and we'll just walk through. Now, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be quoting your house on price that night. I just want to be able to get the information. You show me the improvements that you've made, me walk through the house, and then we'll set up a time to price your home specifically. So tonight we'll just be kind of in and out when I'm there. Does that make sense? So that sets the expectation. Well, what about real estate commission? Oh, I guarantee you we'll address that accordingly. So I'll see you today at 4. I acknowledge what they said, I listened to what they said, and I plowed through it. So the walkthrough, what are the benefits of walking through? She said 1, rapport. What else? Come on, what else? Come on. Huh? Condition. All these things. Kelly. Jennifer. Kelly. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. All of those things. What?
It gives you a chance to find out the things they really like about the home. So when you're marketing, you can point out like their favorite features.
Yep. Makes sense? Okay. So here's how I do my walkthrough. I have a spiral notebook that goes with me. And as I fill that up, I keep that spiral notebook over the years. And it's just all my sloppy notes that nobody can read except Jen on my team, because I don't write very good. But I write all my notes, and it's always the same. Trudy, right? Okay. And in that book is everything, my negotiation of offers, all that kind of thing. It's just a spiral notebook, nothing, but it's thick and, and all that kind of thing. Now, the reason I do that is a spiral notebook as opposed to my phone. Why? Why do I do a book as opposed to my phone? Kelly. Bam. She nailed it. They're not sure if you're texting or responding to email or what. And you can even tell them, Jared, you can even tell them, hey, I'm actually just taking notes. I'm not responding to text. Still doesn't work. Okay? So taking those notes, old school, yes, is so powerful because it also slows down the conversation and slows down the walk. And I even joke about that, don't I, Trudy? So you guys are going a little bit faster and talking a little bit faster than I could write. So I apologize. All I'm trying to do is get the detail of the house because it matters. And they're like, oh yeah, it matters. Well, it does matter. So the walkthrough notes are very powerful because number 1, it helps my listing prep because I can't remember everything. Number 2, it's notes for marketing, right? And number 3, it benefits me the most, honestly, because it helps me to get it into my brain. Right? You guys tracking there? So walkthroughs are super, super powerful. And I go there, I'm meeting with both of them, and the biggest thing is that trust and rapport. It's the biggest thing. It's relational, which is very consistent with my team. That's how we do business. Make sense? Walkthroughs are powerful. It's probably the most important part of the listing presentation. Okay, so let's talk about the end of the appointment, Trudy. I'm picking on Trudy because she's on my team. Yeah. So let's talk about the end of the walkthrough and how we wrap that up. You're going to have to talk.
I always yell. We wrap it up. Basically, we always want to set the appointment for the next time. Right. We'll see you, Mr. Jones. We're going to put our information together. We can see you next Tuesday at 4 or next Wednesday at 6. Will Mrs. Jones be here as well?
Well,
And we-
Mrs. Jones is there on the walkthrough.
Yes, yes, yes. Everybody's there on the walkthrough, but we want them both there to come back with all of our information, with our comps and all of our information put together.
So the bottom line is, that's exactly right. So over the phone, we've accomplished our goal. We got the walkthrough set. In person, I've got my notes, I've got the marketing, things like that. But my goal in that appointment is to get the LA. Right? Okay. So I got my notes. You guys can see it. I show them my notes. Hey, you guys can see all the features of it. I'm excited about the possibility of marketing this home. I got to tell you, you have a very, very marketable home. There's my script. So as I go back to the office and push price as high as I possibly can for you, when is going to be, did you guys catch this? When's going to be the best time to meet for the three of us to sit down and price the home? Tuesday at 4 or Saturday at 6? You know what? I mean, I think we can do this. Well, Saturday. Well, could you do Friday at 1? I could do Friday at 2. Okay. Yeah, Friday at 2 works. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, good deal. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and block off about an hour and a half for us to talk. Okay? And we'll go over a little bit of marketing. We're going to go over 3 things. We're going to go over some marketing. We're going to go over the market trends, and then we're going to price your home. So having said that, I'm going to prepare a financial statement for you. I'm going to prepare a financial statement for you. It's going to kind of show you the math of it. Yeah, there's real estate, but there's also title fees and search fees. So having said that, what do you currently owe on the property? I mean, just a ballpark is fine. So I asked a very direct question, and I softened it with, what do you owe on the property? I mean, just a ballpark is fine. Right? Then I've got that number, and that goes on my walkthrough notes. And then I pull back, and I say, okay, Tuesday at 7, one last thing. I've got my phone out at this point, and I mark it LA on my calendar. What are your legal names? Tyler, what's your legal name? Middle initial? Okay, very good. Tyler R. Schmidt. Mrs. R. Schmidt. Okay, right into my phone with the address. Make sense? Appointment set, done. At that point, now what I don't usually do is do an LA the same day, unless it's one of our repeats and things like that. The reason is because I want time management. I want to be able to think and process that just for a couple of days and then pull the comps and price the home correctly. Does that make sense? I want to be able to control that time and have that time management, and everybody rest easy. And you know what? With some of those scripts, even if they're interviewing another agent, don't matter. They're going to want to talk to me because I had a process that I was direct and firm, but yet understanding. And I said what a couple of times during the walkthrough. What did I say? Push the value of the house. I want to be able to get top dollar for you guys. So that leaves a question in your mind as a seller. And they're like, we got to meet with this guy. I want to know what he says. Right? So it's just following a process, just like this. So what happens is your walkthrough ratio to your listing appointment ratio, we average 95%. Now, you would think, okay, well, Evan does. Nope, my team does. Walkthrough to listing appointment, 95%. LA to LA signed, listing appointment to LA signed, 95%. 75% on that. So my point, 95% on that, 75%. Okay, sorry. So, but the bottom line is it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. It's just following a process. What were the three things that I set them up that we were going to talk to them about? Mindy. What were the three things that I set them up for the next appointment? These are the three things that we're going to talk about. Trudy. Oh, go. Yep. Yeah, close, close, close. Okay, close. Market trends. So these are the three things we're going to talk about when we sit down. I'm going to talk about marketing, kind of what we do. I'm going to talk about market trends for sure. And we're going to price the home. Okay, Mindy.
Do you always have those as two distinct appointments? I find that when
Nope, 100%. 100% two appointments. 100% two appointments. 100% two appointments. 100% two appointments. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Even if you know the house. Alex, I've been in your house, a lot. I mean, we're neighbors and this and that, but I still need to put on my business mind and really walk through the house. Because I really need to be able to get that. Because what you're doing is separating friendship from business. Okay? Don't assume. Yeah, that's how you get in problems. It's business. Right? Tyler. Well, we are, because I don't want to leave money on the table. I mean, I'm here to push the price as high as I possibly can for you. That's why I need a couple of days to really process this. I know where to price the house, but I've got to back it up with data. Good? What about this? What about this? We're going to talk about that. Matter of fact, I'm going to present that to you on Wednesday at 7 when we meet. You guys getting this? Good? Back row? They're asleep. No. Back row, good? What are your ahas? What are you guys getting so far on the walkthrough? Talk to me. Yeah. Yeah. Powerful. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you. We got an hour left. Everybody doing good?
I have one more question.
Yep.
I'm still stuck on this whole. So in order to get that listing agreement, one of done your walkthrough and you still don't have at a time that you're coming back in 2 to 3 days.
Not worried about it.
You're not.
Nope. Not worried about it because my walkthrough is that powerful. Because my scripts leave them with a hook. Because I'm in control of that time and that conversation, and I'm not nervous Nelly reacting. I'm running a business. And It took me a long time to figure out, oh my gosh, I need to do walkthroughs because I wasn't getting the appointments. I thought I connected really, really well with them. And I thought, yeah, we just hit it off good, but I wasn't getting the signed agreements. I'm like, what do I need to do differently? And then agent taught me walkthroughs. I'm like, what? That's a waste of time. No, it's not. It is the best use of time. So I was willing to relearn what was already programmed into my mind. And my business went beep. Sure. She's been on our team 2 months.
I'm like you guys, when I come in, I'm like, okay. When you come at it, studied, go in prepared. They look to you.
So do you think with the walkthrough, it seems like you'd kind of get a chance to look over the house, even if, like you said, you've been in it half a dozen times, whatever, but from a professional standpoint,
So the way I used to do it, I thought I knew about the house. It's a 3-2 in this subdivision. That's all I need to know. No, that's not true. So yes, it gives me a vote of confidence, and honestly, it allows a little bit of my anxious energy out. hmm So the walkthroughs are powerful. The walkthroughs are powerful for rapport. They're powerful for scripts. Alex.
I have a question. So, like on your walkthroughs, do you like since you're saying you want to give them advice, like, hey, like there's a
Love that. So yes. So what I do on my notes is as I'm writing through the features of the house, like living room, master, kitchen, all those kinds of things, I write in condition items that I think need to be taken care of. Okay. And then what I do is I say, so on a at the so Evan, what do you think we need to do type of thing? And if it's new business for us, especially, I said, you know what? We're going to talk about the condition list, and I'm going to help you here, listen to this. I'm going to help you separate yourself from the competition by doing some things that are not expensive to do. And I'm going to go over that with you once we get in business together. Ooh. You follow me? So it's another hook. You guys, Chad, you follow me here? I'm going to help separate you from the competition by doing some things that are inexpensive and will protect your pocketbook. And that list, although short because your house is in fairly good shape, are going to separate you, and it will come once we get in business together, which I'm looking forward to be honest with you. I just assume that sale. I'm telling you, you nail these walkthroughs, guys. I'm not worried about the next agent. But you can screw up a walkthrough too if you don't have both decision makers there. Or if you're not communicating to both of them all through the transaction. Both of them, always. Always, both of them, always. You don't go from husband and then wife to husband. You don't do that. Your success ratio will greatly fall off. Both of them. Did I land that? Tyler. Yeah, when's a good time for both you and Ronnie? Oh, so what was your husband's name? Ronnie. Okay, good deal. Then I ask, what's a good time for you and Ronnie? Well, we just really have difficult schedules. I understand, but life is busy. It's crazy. It is. So typically, when you guys are together, what does that day look like? What day is that? Did you hear me? So I just plowed my way through that. We have crazy schedules. He works nights, I work days. So when do you overlap? When do you have that window of time that you could, well, it's on Wednesdays at 9. Okay, well, let's do that. Make sense? My goal is what? Bite size. I'm working towards that. I'm working towards that. I'm working towards that signed agreement. I'm working towards getting it closed. Make sense? I have failed a lot, guys. I'm going to tell you that. I have screwed up, jacked up, thinking, what in the world did I say, or why didn't I say that? I've messed up. But you have to be willing to take the steps to go forward. It's a mindset. Give yourself a little bit of slack if you're working your business. Don't give yourself slack if you're not. Right? This is a business that can change your life if you treat it like a business and you work it and you be relational. You do your 10-4s and you do it consistently. It can change. It's a game changer. I don't care what the market is. If the market swings south, my team's prepared. Relationship deep. We can't change the market. We can change ourselves. Right? Okay. All right. So let's do this. Okay. All right. So here's a resume that we have. This is something that you guys can come up with yourself if you'd like. I'm just going to briefly kind of go through it. Our experience, accomplishments, skills, team vision and mission. You guys can kind of read through that. We talk about that every single week. Meet our team, sales agents, client care specialists, the different things like that. Yak. So this is all the client testimonials, people that have shot me texts, done emails, maybe a review, something like that. Those are client testimonials. 11-point marketing plan, which we're going to go over in just a second, I promise. That's it. Okay. All right. So at this point we have at this point we got the listing appointment set for Thursday at 7 o'clock. It's Tuesday right now. I've got a little bit of time management, so it's set on my calendar. I'm going to prepare the folder, all those kinds of things. You guys are welcome to take a look at some of the checklists that we have and things like that. Some of the organization that we have. Red is for listings, so you guys can just pass that around. And so this folder right here hits my desk. Now, prep like that, ready to go. And even if you're a solo agent, with most of you are, I would recommend that you come up with something like this in physical form, because I do most of my transactions through .loop online, but in listings, I do it in person because of the detail and the accuracy of the documents. From that point forward, contractually speaking, I'll do everything electronically, okay? Because I check this box or uncheck this box gets a little bit laborious. Unless I do a Zoom call with clients, I've been doing quite a few of those listing appointments and things like that, then I'll do it electronically, but I even share those documents as well. But I think it's important that you have, and this is just my way of doing it, when you have a physical folder like this and you create 10 of them for yourself, it's a goal set for you. It's a reminder that you got to get those filled out. So I'm going to pass these through, but this is all part of my listing presentation when I go. So again, this is prepped. I just pulled this out of the prep box, or it's not prepped, but this is the basic foundation of our listing presentation. And then from there, all the details from my walkthrough are put in on the listing forms, prepped, all that kind of thing, whether it has a 2-car garage or a 3-car garage, all those details of the house. And that goes in the flex forms accordingly. So once I get that back on my desk, then I comp the property. Okay, I'm going to show you that in just a second. I'm not going to comp properties today, but no, nope. This is reserved for the listing presentation. Great question. The walkthroughs are designed to be informal but formal. So just that ratty-tatty looking notebook works really well, especially in the Midwest. Okay? Now, KWRI through Ignite has some of those checklists that you can go through that have walkthrough checklists. You could check boxes and things like that. And that's good, and that's probably really efficient. For me, it just works to write things down because it helps my brain. Okay? But there's other sources there that have the walkthrough. So this one is reserved for listing appointments. And once I prepare all the comparables and things like that, I print those off and I put those in the folder. Okay? But it also, as part of my prep, I do an estimated proceed sheet. You remember that? Remember what I talked about, the financial statement? Okay. I'm going to show you how to do a financial statement real quick as part of my prep. I'm not going to show you comparables today because that's reserved for tomorrow or whenever your next class is. Is it Wednesday? Yeah. Which I really wish I was teaching, to be honest with you. So, but I'm not. That's okay. But the bottom line is you guys can pass this around. All right. So again, I'm still at the office. It's Tuesday or Wednesday, and my appointment's Thursday. Okay? So when I get that folder back, I'm going to do the seller estimated proceed sheet. Okay, number one, I'm going to leave the sales price off. I'm going to leave that off. I'm going to print this form in hard copy form. For today's purposes, I'm just going to fill these in as numbers go. But I'm going to teach you why I do it in handwritten form. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm over in this column, I'm going to write the taxes for the annual year, for the year. So in easy math, let's just say it was $1,200. So I'm going to write $1,200 right over here. Then let's say it's January right now, which it is. And let's say a projected closing on this particular property is, March. So I'm going to go ahead and write March in here, and I'm going to write 3 months. And today's date is January. So this is just an estimated close date. You guys tracking with me? So I'm going to write 3 in here. I hope that's going to be okay. I'll do that. Okay, write 3. And then how much is that a month if it's 1,200? What? Thank you. Whoops. Okay, got it? How much is number 2 going to be? Thank you. All right. What do they owe? How did I get that? When? Walk through. They didn't have any seconds because I asked them. So, Jared, what do you owe on the property? I mean, just a ballpark is fine. Nope, just tell me. Just say 100,000. 100,000. Okay, so that's what you owe. Now, you don't have any heat locks or home equity lines of credit. In other words, you didn't borrow any other money tied to the house, did you? Okay, that's at the walkthrough. Whoops. Yeah, wow. 100,000. Okay. We have a base fee on ours. All right, I skipped the 6%. I left that blank. I've left 2 blank. What have I left intentionally blank? Yes, and? Correct. All right, closing service fee. Hogan. Title search. Hogan. Yeah, that's where I close. Recording fees, about 50 bucks. Home warranty, let's say 650. Okay. So then I have those numbers. Now again, this is in hard copy form, and it's going to be in the listing agreement. And I handwrite these numbers in. Okay? The reason I handwrite these numbers in is because once we settle at price, then I figure the commission, and whatever I write in matches what I have written in here. If I do it digitally like it is now, it's a match. It's not a match, and it stands out. You follow me? Hello? Tracking? Okay. So then, somebody do the math for me just real quick. Add those numbers up. Add them up. Tell me what it is. Anybody got the number? Is anybody adding these up for me? All right, so somebody add 650 plus 50. Yeah, thank you. Just, yeah, knock them out. 247, 100,000, and 300. Mm-hmm. Yeah, $300. Okay, so we got 102,000. So I just write that 102,000 somewhere on the corner. That's just a number for me. Okay, so I've got that written down a little post-it on the corner, whatever. I'm not showing that to the client. So those numbers so far are 102,000. Make sense? Okay, then I comp the property. I do the comparables. And that's a different class as well, as far as the comparables aspect of it. Then I have those printed off. One quick note on comparables. Could I have another bottle of water? Would somebody get me one of those? Do we have one of those? Thank you so much. So I'm trying to accelerate because I know that we have classes over at 1 o'clock. Okay, so so I've got those comparables. On the comparables aspect of it, 3 categories: actives, pendings, and solds. Thank you. All right, actives, pendings, and solds. Too much data is crazy. Okay? Use probably no more than total of 10 comparables total. Don't go in there with 25. Don't go in there with 30. Don't do that. Too much data. Too much data. Keep it simple. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate that, Brian. Okay, so we have our total there. Then that's in my folder. It's all handwritten. It's ready to go. Make sense? Okay, I've got my comparables. I know exactly where I need to be from a price standpoint. Go ahead and say that, I guess. And then I'm knocking on the door Thursday. So I've got my folder that's coming around to you. I've got my comparables in it, and I've got my estimated proceeds sheet pretty much done, with the exception of, and, okay. All right. So at that point, it's reconnection. All right, so we're at the door. I'm on time. Chad, I got to tell you, kind of before we get started, I really want to, I really want to thank you guys both, just for having me here and, the walkthrough the other day. I really felt like we made a great connection. I'm excited about marketing your house today. I'm excited about getting in business and really pushing the value as high as I possibly can. So, I don't know, we just really connected. So I appreciate your time for sure. Yeah. Well, good deal. So, and I promise, as we get in business tonight with signatures, I promise, don't let me forget, we're going to go over the condition list with you. Okay? So that'll help you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a few things that you can do to help, that your competition won't do. I mean, just to be honest with you. And I just want to separate you. Make sense? Yeah. Good deal. All right. So, so we sit down. We're at the coffee table. We're not in the living room. We're not at couches. We're at a business table. And they said, well, why don't you just come on in the living room? Actually, I tell you, would you guys be open-minded if we just use the kitchen table? I'll help you clear it. Yeah. We'll do that. Just help them clear it off. That's where you want. When you're seated, you want to make sure you're across from them and not split. Negative. Got to be right there. It's too hard. You lose things there. All right? Everything is very deliberate, very process driven, but it comes across very, very natural to the client. Very natural. Okay? Is this making sense? All right. So, if they offer you something to drink, always take it. Sort of. I'm kidding. Okay, so anyway, whether you drink it or not doesn't matter. Just make sure you take it. So, all right. So number one, I want to thank you for a couple of days from our last appointment, because it just really allows me to study the market and push the price of your house. Lots of details on the walkthrough, and I really do appreciate that, because again, I don't want to leave money on the table. So I want to thank you for that. Oh, no, thank you. Yeah. No. So tonight, we're going to talk about three things. Yep. So we're going to go over marketing. I'm just going to briefly go over that, just, allow you to get your mind around that just a bit, kind of show you what we do. Number two, marketing trends, and you have to say the number 2 word. Number 2, pricing trends. I'm going to kind of show you what the market's doing. Those are your comparables. And number 3, we're going to price your home. Make sense? So all of those kinds of things, they know what to expect. They're not interrupting you through the process of what's your real estate commission. Okay? Now, what I've also learned about the marketing aspect of it, yes, it's important, but it's about you. So be super brief on it. Be organized, but brief. Because they don't want the yak about you. What they want to know is what and how much it's going to cost them. Okay? So make sure that you stay informed of that. All right. So real quick, marketing. So here's my 11-point marketing plan. And the number one thing I'm going to do tonight as we talk about your house is my number one strength is pricing. So my job is to sell your house 3 times. I've got to sell it to the buyer online that's comparing your house to others. Bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, price. The whole goal on getting a buyer to accept your house is to getting them to save it and not reject it. Number 2, I got to sell it to the agent. Bedrooms, bathrooms, location, price, has to make sense to them. Price is the number one driving factor on the buyers and the buyer's agent. Has to be. They're savvy. They understand what's priced correctly and what's overpriced. And number three is the appraiser. And that's where I come in from a very analytical standpoint and say, okay, all emotions aside, where do I feel like this house is going to appraise? How can I push the price of the house, find that balance, and get it to appraise? Those are my scripts. Then I can go in the market, on the market that I taught earlier. So let me show you the realistic way. And then I go into the in the market, on the market, that graph right there. And if you can do that graph, boom, handwritten form, you are becoming the market expert. This is before they said, well, this is before they tell me, well, we need this, or I want this, as far as pricing. Number two, negotiations. I get along great with agents. Matter of fact, I mean, so many of my are in my phone, friends, things like that. But I am a tough negotiator. I fight for your equity. You guys hear this? I use brief and powerful statements, and I pause afterwards. What I don't do is ramble on and on and on. This class may seem other words. But my powerful statements are short, powerful, and pausing, because that allows them to process what I just said. In negotiations, I fight for your equity. James, here's what I understand. I understand working 65 hours a week, 70 hours a week, taking time away from your family, being late to birthday parties. I understand the grind. I understand running a budget and working week after week to pay your mortgage down. I get that. I just want you to know I've experienced that as well. That's why people hire me, James, is because I'm going to fight for their equity. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's very direct, short, and powerful statements. Right? Good? And I wrap up in negotiations and I say, what was your name? Danielle. Danielle, you want me in your corner. Right? And it's just that. Trust, there's going to be some sensitive times. We're not going to run a perfect transaction. There's going to be sensitive times of which we have to work through and talk through. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to help you by providing you options and help you navigate through those sensitive situations. But I'm going to be honest with you. Good? And certainly communication. All the showings will go through me. I control the chaos of all the agents. But most importantly, it allows me to time manage who's in your house and strategically place them against each other should we be in a multiple offer situation. Okay? That's communication. Staging, signage, all those kinds of things. KW stuff. Team market, and then number 10. I know it's a strange thing to have on our marketing plan, but we're lead generating to find a buyer for your home. We're prospecting. I make calls and connections with people because I lead generate. I write thank you notes. I follow up with people. I'm working my business. I may be a brand new agent, but I'm out there working it because I'm trying to find somebody to buy your house. I'm not a guy that's going to sit on my hands and just let the MLS do it. I'm a worker. Relational, real. Who are you? Can you relate to that? Here are my skills. So what I did over the years is I said, what do I want to communicate to sellers out there? And I came up with words as I read through Ignite and other material, Camp 444 at the 443 at the time, and I wrote down key words that they were trying to communicate. And I built a script around those key words. Thank you. I'm going to jerk it off. So, but I built key scripts around those words that I wanted to communicate. We talk about overcoming objections before they become objections. Dude, that's exactly what this is. I'm communicating all of these things prior to pricing the house, because all I have to do at this point is refer back if they aren't following my lead. You follow me? If you don't do it this way, you're going to be talking them into something, and yes, they will hire another agent. Been there and done that, and those don't feel good. Just saying. And when I screw up myself, even last week, and don't follow my own process, I don't get the same results. I'm like, dang it. Why did I do that? And then I hear it from my team. Hey, you need to follow the process. I know that. But we all screw up. But the bottom line is it works. Okay? Phase 3, actives trends. We go through the comparables. So as you can see, this is this, and this one was sold, and this one, that one, this one, this one, this one, that one. Okay, we go through the comparables. So as we wrap up comparables, Brian, let me ask you a question. I feel like I know exactly where to price your home after studying it, walking through it. But where did you feel like your home would sell? I mean, no wrong answer, but where did you feel like it would sell? Kelly? We are. We're talking about we're talking about your husband and wife. I should have clarified that. I should have set the expectation. I'm so sorry. So, Kelly, how did you arrive at 160 based on these comparables? Okay. Right. But based on these comparables, where did you feel like it would sell? Okay, see? I took it back to the comparables. Not me. Not me. But I stay curious. I stay curious. And again, I haven't quoted price. So then I go into, actually, you're both wrong, which is a good thing in this case. We need to be at 165. Or let's take it a different route. We're close. And I think that we're on the same page. We need to be at 145. So, Brian, good job at the 150. You were real close. Kelly, if I could get the 400,000 that you wanted, I would. You can see my heart. Okay? But I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you to give me a little pushback. But Kelly, we need to be at 145. Kelly, it won't appraise. Kelly, let me explain. The three of us tonight, we agree to a price. Matter of fact, here in a few minutes, we're even going to sign off on it. You guys are going to sign the agreement. We're all done. That's great. We agree to the price. But you know what? It's the market that accepts the price, not us. So the market will communicate to you with activity and with showings and with an offer. Or it won't. So we can make our own market, or you can be in the market. Kelly, I'm here to get as much as I possibly can for you. You see that, right? Okay. Kelly, we need to be at 145. Okay. Now, let me show you what the math is. Boom, I got the okay. Now I'm going to go into the 145 on my sales price, figure out the commission, and show them the bottom line. But I want to show you that in just a moment through a visual demonstration. Tyler. Oh my gosh, because you're getting very specific. Do not do ranges. Confidence. Yeah. If you say, well, 165 to 180, no way, dude. No way, man. You got to nail the price with confidence. You got to nail that price with confidence. Well, you know what? They said, so they're always going to say, well, that's 180 then. Okay, we can get 180. No, you want to be very, very specific. Good question. Real question. That's a real question, but don't do them ranges. You won't get the LA signed. They'll go on to the next agent. They won't sign that tonight. Yep.
What if it was Kelly, right?
Yes, Kelly.
What if she pushed back again then and said, well, what if we split the difference and we start?
Great question. Danielle, we got one chance. Yes, we do. We've got one opportunity to hit the market new and fresh. And that way, everybody, because when your house hits the market with professional photography and aggressive marketing, all the buyers say, what? And they look at it. And if it's priced right and positioned correctly, we're going to sell. You can see that I'm trying to push price because our comparables show 135 in this subdivision. You can see that I'm trying to put more money in your pocket. Danielle, 145 is as high as I can possibly get it. That's where we need to be. I understand, but you're going to be on the market and you're going to help your competition sell. Is that what you want?
There's no one else in my neighborhood.
There is. There's 3 more coming up. Well, you know what? I understand. You know, but the bottom line is let me explain the timing of your market. Right now, you have 0 competition on the market right now. You can see that we're $10,000 over the sales price of the subdivision. You're going to have one opportunity to hit it. So look at this one. Oh, I know they're nice. You've done a great job. They're amazing. And the fact that your house has a roof, that's crazy. I get it. But I wouldn't be sitting here if you didn't trust me. Correct? Then let's get in business together. Let's push it to the top dollar, knowing that I'm trying to get 10 more than what's in the subdivision, and let's get in business. There you go. Okay? But I wasn't going in it with these long explanations of this, and this, and this. More talking. They're short statements. And how do you get the short statements? You draw up something like that. You draw up 20 keywords that you feel are important that you want to communicate to sellers. And you start to write a paragraph on those things and get it narrowed down from that paragraph to 2 or 3 sentences. That's how you do it. Make sense? Okay. So estimated proceeds sheet, we're rolling pretty good. All right, Alex, what was our number that we had? 102? Okay, so what's 150,000 at 6% is $9,000, correct? Oh yeah. Who said that? Yeah. Whatever. All right, 145, Kelly, at 6%. How much is it? Well, you got a phone. 8,000 what? 8,700. All right, again. So at this point, I'm writing in those numbers, 145 and 8,700, right? Okay, so I take my 102, 102,000 plus 8,700. What is that number? What? Oh, plus my payoff, which is 100,000. Okay, so 102, what's 102,000 plus 8,700? What is that number? Thank you. So we're just going to go ahead and round that up to 111. What's 111,000 less 145? Hello? Okay. So as you can see, all these expenses added up equal 111,000. This is the number on line 25 that you need to remember when we're in negotiations. And you circle that number. So 111 is the number you need to remember. And that includes all of these things that we just talked about. Make sense?
Actually put it at the price you're offering.
I put it, yeah, I put it at list price. Yeah. Okay. And if we get a full price offer, we're going to be netting right around 34,000. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, one thing I failed to do. All right. So I've got those numbers written in. Now I'm flipping that sheet around to them and say, okay, now this is just estimated because that's what it says at the top of the page. If we sold it for 145 and we did it by March, your taxes would be about $300. Okay. Now you've done a good job of paying down your mortgage and you don't have any seconds, and that mortgage is 100,000 and you don't have any home equity lines of credit. That's $0. Then we get into the real estate commission. That's 6%. That covers both brokers. Pause. Then we have 247. That's a compliance fee. That's only due at the time of closing. Then we get into the title fees. So I paused after it, allowed them to process that for a second. Moving on. All right, closing service fee of $175. Your title search fee is about $150, and then your recording fees right around $50. Now, line 20, that's optional. That's a home warranty. And here are the three things on a home warranty that would benefit you. Boom, 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 boom. But I said the key word. Did I see the keyword optional on anything else? So then I'm doing this as I'm presenting. I'm doing it with my pen so I can direct their eyes. So as we add these things up, we come to 111. I circle it and star it. This is the number that you need to remember in negotiations. So when we have an offer come in, James, 111 is our cost of sale. Okay, Evan, that makes sense. The reason I do this is because it allows them to not get confused with incoming offers. They have one number to remember. They don't have to go back and recount. Okay, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this. This sheet right here will save your bacon. Well, I didn't know about this, I didn't know about that, and I didn't know about this over here. It's right here. You follow me? Powerful. This is the most powerful tool from a document standpoint that I've ever used in my business. It helps me with price reductions. It helps me with all of it. Because I can always talk to them about cost of sale and estimated net. That's what they want to know. So as we talk about a price reduction, if you were to do this, if you were to lower the price to 140, here's what your net would be. I don't want to do that. I understand that you don't want to I understand you don't want to reduce your price. But if you did reduce your price and followed my lead to get the home sold, this is what you would net. I plow through that no. I understand, Trudy, that you don't want to reduce the price. I get it. But if you were to follow my lead and my counsel and reduce the price to here, this is what you should net. Short, powerful conversation. It's not a fluff. That's why this document, revisiting this document, is so important. Incoming offers, that's all. I wish I was teaching that class too. But anyway, this can be used in that as well. Does this make sense? Okay. Tyler. Sure, you go for it. Because that's my rate. I'm sorry? I understand. So if he's willing to give up his commission right up front, I wonder how he's going to fight in negotiations for your equity. No, that would be split. Unless we're a dual agent, we bring the buyer, then there would be 6% in that particular case. But you can understand, you can already see that I fight for equity. I'm here to get more than the average agent because of those negotiation skills and not give up your equity. Do you have any other questions on commission? Let's proceed forward. Or the most common is, will you cut your commission?
Will you cut
No. What's your next question? I appreciate that. Thank you for that, but no, I don't. Any other questions before we go forward? Nope. Okay. Danielle.
Ever gone to a listing appointment?
Sure.
Like way under what they.
It happens. It happens. Sure. You do. You do. All right.
I got one more question.
James.
So they sign that, you leave it there with them, you give them a copy, you mail it to them, what do you got?
Okay, good question. I guess I better finish. All right. So Mindy, with that, let's go ahead and proceed forward in business. I pull out my documents. They're working on seller's disclosures. I'm taking room measurements. Then we go through the forms and flex forms, fill out attic pull down stairs, jetted tub, all the details of the property. And as I'm working on that, they're working on seller's disclosures. I collect that signed business. But Evan, we're not hitting the market until we get our condition things done. You're going to go over, yep, absolutely. So on our forms, we have on line 17 of the listing agreement, the last page rather, because we changed forms. So last page on the special agreements, we just put the MLS date and the effective date will be two different dates. Okay. So what that means is we're in business tonight with your signature, but we're not sure exactly when we're going to hit market until we get the condition list done. That's what that's disclosing. So we get everything signed. I walk through, it's signed. I have the key. Do you guys get, who has that folder? Yeah, it's back there. So that key tab's in there. I write the day, I get the key, all of it. Boom, boom, boom. Everything's signed. Disclosures are done. That's why I allow an hour and a half for that, for the entire listing appointment. And then go through, get the key, get it all done. So here's our next step. Thank you so much for the business. We're looking forward to it. You get your condition list done and then contact Belinda when you're done, or she'll follow up with you accordingly. Great. Goes on to the next team member or yourself in this particular case. Hey, just want to follow up with you on Tuesday. How you guys coming? Coming along pretty good. Okay, we're going to need until Wednesday. Okay, good. How about if we have pictures on Thursday? Great. Sounds good. Makes sense? Everything's signed. Close. Close business. Sure. Yeah, my MLS date will be different. Yeah, my MLS date will be different, but that's disclosed. Yeah. Good stuff today? We have it disclosed that may be different. And through the MRC, I've been fine.
Yeah, I was just saying why you put that in there.
That's why.
No, they only have.
Yep, I want a blanket. I want to be protected and covered. Okay, so what'd you guys get out today? That's funny, actually. All right, what else? Come on, Chad. What'd you get, Chad? Yeah. So scripts are memorize, internalize, and then customize them. So you've noticed today when you've come back to me on scripts, none of them are exactly the same. They're just not. They're going to be fairly close, but none of them. And that's just memorization. Okay, what else did you get from it? Kelly? Pretty powerful. Yeah, 100%.
I was going to add to that. I mean, it's like if you got children, you're going to take them to a walk through.
Hey, yeah, that's good, James. Yeah, good comparison. Tyler?
To build on both those.
Yeah, and you're also satisfying an immediate need for them. Because at that point, they're like, hey, we're excited. We're reaching out. We're making the phone call. We're texting you. It's important that you recognize that they have an immediate need. And the walkthrough does really help that. Okay? What else did you get? Jared, give me something. Yeah. Yeah. Learn about them. Yeah. Do more than the MLS. Call the LA listing agent. Call the listing agent. Find out about it. Get a packet. Learn that. Okay. What else? Kelly, Jennifer.
I liked seeing all your.
Good. You know, um, very process driven. I've just learned over the years that this is the way we follow it. This is the way, and this is the way I teach it. This is the way I teach it on my team, and it works. And everybody has their own personality, twist to it or whatever, but they follow the process, and it shows up in the numbers. It shows up in the numbers. Okay, two more back row, two more ahas. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. That's exactly right. That's communication as to what the next step is. That's one of the most powerful process-driven things on our team is everybody that's on the phone or following up with their client will say, here's our next step, regardless of where we are in the transaction or pre-transaction. Here's our next step. Very important. Great aha. Yes, sir. What's your name? I see you in the hallway all the time with a mask. Okay. Okay. All right. Good. Good deal. All right. So you guys were engaged today. It took you about 37 minutes to get engaged. But that was Monday morning. We'll leave it at that. But you guys did great. I really do want you guys to succeed at a high level. It it's really up to you. It's really coming to grips with your mind and getting the monkey off your back that's telling you you can't do it or you shouldn't do it or preoccupying your time and just lead generating. Just do it. Just fail your way forward. Just do it. And do it consistently. And then those will come. How many phone calls did I say that one of my guys made? Yeah. 207 no's. He called the same 207 back 3 weeks later and got 5 yeses. And he's been in the area 3 years, and real estate 5 months, 6 months. Okay? You can do it. Set yourself apart. Go work your business. And don't pretend you know it all. Okay? Don't get caught up with the images of fancy cars and big offices. Just go out there and grind. Just go out there and get your work done. If you don't understand the forms, get with someone who does, that can help you navigate through that. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. But 100%.
I was gonna.
Girl, it is.
So if there's why, I mean, just trying to make it work.
Yeah.
Feed off of. That's why I look really confused.
So
Just speaking for myself, but it's overwhelming.
it is overwhelming. And what you have to do in those situations is just really go back to your 10-10-4. You just have to go back to your 10-10-4. You've got to keep it simple for yourself. You've got to keep it simple for yourself. Because if you get caught up in building the perfect website and attending all the classes and doing all those things, which are important, it's not going to generate the business. You've got to learn the fundamental of lead generation, lead follow-up. That's the foundation. There's just nothing I do different from that perspective than I did when I first started out. Maybe a little better, but that's just because I've screwed up so many times and failed. But then I had a couple of yeses that came along. And I'm going to leave you with this. Don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to other agents. I should have gotten this. I should have done that. You'll just beat yourself up. And that'll be an isolating factor. Keep your mind strong. You keep focused on what you need to do. And you work on the behaviors of which are going to yield results. That's it. That's all I got. I got a lot more, but not for that. Hey, appreciate you guys. Good stuff. How do I turn all this off? Yay!
I got it. Awesome
Thanks,
job.
Billy.
You're welcome. I did end up getting it. I had to email it to myself, but you used other stuff anyways. It's great. Just so you know, because
I know you mentioned if we left our card up here, you send us
Yeah.
like a couple of things. Would you be able to send me maybe that seller's package so I could check it out?
You bet. My pleasure.
Bet.
Okay, you bet.
Thank you.
You bet.